It's time for part two of Gabby's exclusive interview with Rio Ferdinand. Rio previously defended Jude Bellingham amid criticism of his temperament. You'll be able to watch that on talkSPORT's YouTube channel very shortly. But let's now get Rio's thoughts on last season's 15th best Premier League side, Manchester United.
I think as well, for Manchester United fans, they were over the moon by Fernandez saying that he would stay at Manchester United, he wouldn't go to play in Saudi. Does that show that he has the faith in the manager, the faith in the owners, that they can bring in the right players to bring Manchester United back to the glory days? And also, how patient the fans have to be next season, and what's a good season for Manchester United next season?
I think the most important thing is shown that I think the word loyalty gets bandied about far too often in my eyes, from a club's perspective, but also from players and managers as well. But I think this is a huge sign of loyalty from him to the club. I don't think anybody could have argued if he'd said, right, I've done my time, guys, I've given the best years of my career. I'm now going to go on to this different adventure. No one could have been up in arms about it. But I think he's sitting there, and I think it's a testament to him as a man, as a human, that's gone, do you know what, I've got unfinished business here. I don't think he's doing it with any knowledge of going, I've seen enough to go, I think we can do more. I think he's doing it more in hope, if I'm brutally honest. So I don't think there's been anything to suggest that Man United are going to go on a barnstorming run next season and finish in a Champions League position.
No.
I think my expectations for Man United next season will be top 8, top 6, and you've got to be happy with that, from 15th in the league and being a shambles.
You've got to build from that as well, haven't you, the following season? And as a player, I'm sure I heard you speaking about it on your podcast. Gyokeres, there's talk this morning that the Sporting Lisbon president, he's not agreed to a gentleman's agreement of 59 million. He wants 85 million. Is he the right man for Manchester United at 85 million?
Tell you one thing, I'll be in his office and he wouldn't be able to leave me. I'll be in his bed, I'll be in his front room, in his kitchen. He wouldn't be able to get me out of his sight. I'll be causing him a nightmare to get out if I wanted. If we've had an agreement.
Yes.
I'd done that when I was at Leeds. I heard Man United were interested in me. I knew Leeds had to let me go. And I went to Peter Ridsdale and said, listen, come on, I know you need to sell me. Let's not haggle over a couple of million here or there. Let me get a deal done. And I was there for hours waiting, and they ended up getting it done. But is he the right guy? I think, listen, he has some really good attributes. I've not seen enough of him to be totally convinced. The games I have seen him in the Champions League against players that match him up physically, I think that I'd love to see a bit more. In that sense, I've said that. But there's no denying that he knows where the goal is. He's played in Portugal. He's been banging in goals and setting up goals left, right, and centre the last couple of years. But I just think for Manchester United at this moment in time, I would go for experience more than anything.
Yeah, totally agree.
And someone like Osimhen, experience, played in multiple leagues, international football, produced at every level that he's played at, knows his way around a football pitch. And I'm talking about not just for the first team playing now for 90 minutes, but I think also for Højlund, for Chido Obi, the young kid who just scored 2 on tour the other day, for Xerxes, for these guys to look at someone and go, that's a reference point for how a number 9 plays. And I think that if I was going to go for one of them, I would go for him or someone.
Yeah, totally agree, mate. I want to ask you about Sancho and Rashford. I think you're like me. We want these players to do well. We want them to succeed. But it looks like their time might be up at Manchester United. Well, definitely Rashford. I think he's lost his number 10 to Cunha. Where next for both of these players, Rio? Where do you see them both moving to?
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? I don't know, man. I mean, Sancho, to start with Sancho, I thought Sancho, right, he's back. When I saw him playing for Dortmund in the Champions League, not this season, gone the season before, I was like, okay, he seems to have got his mojo back, but then came back to the Premier League. Maybe the Premier League ain't right for him. It's like Anthony. It's like Anthony's gone to Spain and looks a different player. Maybe the Premier League is just a bit too fast and physical for someone like Sancho. His game may be suited to be more of a Spain, more of a Germany type, where the game's a little bit slower, more technical. And there's no shame in that. It's just identifying what's best for you. Do you know what I mean? And maybe he has to say, you know what, actually, let me just put it down to that and move on. And he done okay at Chelsea. But I think if you ask Chelsea fans, they weren't no one was up in arms that he didn't get re-signed. And I think it's for him and his team to look at really what the next destination is pivotal for him. and I would definitely be looking outside of the Premier League if I was him.
Yeah.
Rashford, again, like you want to see these boys do well, man, because you've seen their come up, you've seen how great they've looked at times, and we just haven't seen enough of it. Even at Villa, you're a Villa fan. Are you sitting there going, "Oh my God, we have to sign Rashford"?
No, I'm not.
But that tells you then.
Yeah,
Pardon?
at times very good. At times, what he was doing at Manchester United, similar, where not the work rate, not looking interested.
So that's what I'm saying. So, and you're a big Villa fan. So, if that's the case, and he hasn't maybe done enough when he's even at Villa. If you just put it down to goals and assists, then he hasn't scored enough goals to warrant you be going, oh my God, we need to sign him. I think with Rashford, his next move's pivotal as well, and I think where he goes, he needs to go to a place where one, it's the right environment for him, where he can learn and he can be drilled into things. Discipline's there. They want to do well, want to win, obviously, but I think also a massive thing that a coach is going to coach him. And I know he's not a kid anymore, but it doesn't matter what age you are, anyone can be coached.
Yes.
And I think there's still elements of his game. Like, for instance, there's a simple part, if I was coaching him now, I don't want you to come to feet anymore. Stop coming to feet when you come to short and go long. But you know what? It's hard work because you're having to do high energy runs a lot of the time. And you might not get it 3-4 times, but you might get it on the fifth. And then what do you do with it? And I think that when he burst onto the scene, he was running in behind constantly. He was an absolute nightmare. He was a joy to watch. And I don't see him doing them hard runs enough. If I could get more of them, I don't want him to get it to feet and have to beat someone. That's harder than running behind.
Yeah, totally agree, mate.
Does that mean you don't see any way that Rashford will be a Villa player then next season?
No, I don't see it. The problem is, Jeff, it's okay when you're on loan and you had a couple of disappointing seasons and you've got to do well because you're looking for that next move when your club doesn't want you, Manchester United. And he did come to Villa and have some very good games. The PSG game at home, he was unstoppable. He was hunting down defenders. He was producing. But then there were games where he was quiet. He wasn't showing that work rate. So you're not going to go and pay 40 million and give him £300,000 a week. And then what if he just comes to Villa and then goes to chill mode? Because he's got that security of the 4 years. So that's the problem with Unai Emery. He's probably thinking, for that amount of wages that Villa can't afford, rather go out and get maybe a player that might be a bit more hungry.
It's interesting to hear him talk about Sancho maybe needing to go abroad again. And it doesn't seem like he's going back to Dortmund, which was touted initially. Would it be the worst idea in the world for Manchester United to keep him?
He hasn't worked under Ruben Amorim, has he? When Amorim come in, he was already out. He had
the fallout with Ten Hag.
Yeah, he was all, so maybe it is the best option. And look at Chelsea. Chelsea said, listen, we can't give you the wages that you want at Manchester United. We can't give you the wages that you'll be earning more than some of our star players. So he wasn't going to accept taking less money. And if he is going to go on loan, Jeff, it's going to be an expensive loan for clubs to pay what he's earning. So I'm with you. Maybe he can come back pre-season, try and show what he can do. And then maybe Ruben Amorim uses him. On his day, he's a very good player, but another one, not consistent.
Yeah, but they're not spoilt for choice in terms of quality. Not at the moment. And I know there are going to be significant incomings during the summer.
But you just want to see the consistency. Like, that's the Sancho and Rashford on their day, unbelievable. The goal he scored in the Conference League final, cuts in, bends it in. But we don't see it week in, week out. And different managers these players are playing for, and they're in, they're out. So, same with Anthony, like Rio says. Maybe Real Betis, where he played his best football since he's come to Manchester United. Maybe that's another move abroad for Anthony as well. So they've got problems, Manchester United, because they're on big money. Yeah. All three of those players are on big money that Manchester United will want to get rid of.
Good morning, guys. There's Nick the Red. Don't be fooled with all the Fernandez loyalty talk. If any of the big teams in Europe would come in for him, he'd be gone. Saudi isn't for everyone, especially for families. Probably doesn't really matter why he's staying as long as he's staying, doesn't it? And he's you don't improve.
Look, other players though. Other players have gone. Like you're gonna triple your wages and tax free.
Yeah, but from Manchester United's perspective, you don't improve by selling your best player, do you?
Oh no way.
Yeah.
There's no point bringing in Cunha and then get rid of Fernandez.
Exactly.
Cunha's going to need Fernandez.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.